Center project discussions are happening across the tri-state area, and they are a hot topic. KTIV's Sophie Wyckoff has been following the developments and the story throughout the day. She joins us live in the studio tonight with the very latest. What can you tell us, Sophie?
Yeah, that's correct, Jess. A number of Siouxland counties are now exploring what possible data centers and moratorium or freezes on these projects. Woodbury County, Iowa, Yankton County, South Dakota, and Gage County, Nebraska are all exploring such a freeze, but Plymouth County, Iowa has already pulled the trigger, approving a one-year moratorium at its Board of Supervisors meeting on Tuesday.
It's become more of a local issue. I myself had citizens come up to me and express their concern regarding these kind of facilities. So we've decided we really need to be proactive and get ahead of this issue.
Plymouth County's move was cited by Woodbury County's board at its own meeting Tuesday, as supervisors agreed to consider a moratorium of their own at their next meeting.
Learning that Plymouth County passed a one-year moratorium earlier today, I think that that's what we're going to have on the agenda for next week, a revocable one-year moratorium, which means if we get through the zoning process, say in 8 months, we could always pull that moratorium off at that time.
Supervisors in Yankton County, South Dakota, also exploring a moratorium tonight. Yankton County officials tell KTIV it was initially on the agenda for their Tuesday meeting, but won't be considered until their next meeting on July 7th. Now to Gage County, where 100 people gathered in the Gage County Courthouse for a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. After hearing hours of public comment, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to recommend an 18-month moratorium on their new data center development applications. That recommendation now goes to the County Board of Supervisors. In the background of all of this, the proposed data center on 900 acres of land annexed into the city of Salix, Iowa last month. Residents there have split opinions on the development. Some are for it, some against. Right now, MidAmerican Energy is still looking to land a customer for the site. No further action will be taken on the project until that happens.
And Sophie, we're also learning more tonight about that Salix project, in particular about the timeline and what city leadership actually knew and what they knew and when they knew it.
That's right, Jessica. Woodbury County Supervisor Matthew Ung released documents to KTIV this afternoon that indicated Salix leaders potentially knew about this plan in May before the city moved to annex the land. This raises new questions about what Salix officials knew and when. Annexation paperwork filed by the city of Salix with the Iowa Secretary of State and the Woodbury County Recorder includes a map labeled MidAmerican Energy Salix Site Review, dated May 4th. But 9 days later, on May 13th, a packed Salix City Council meeting drew concerned residents asking about a potential data center. I even asked Mayor Nelson on that day if there is no plan as of right then on May 13th to put a data center in place.
So as of right now, there is no plan in place for a data center?
That's correct.
Ung says on social media, the firm noted at the bottom of the public land annexation document has delivered several hyperscale data centers. Jessica, I reached out back to Mayor Nelson tonight, and he says that he stands by his initial statement that there still are no plans for a data center. Nelson says in a statement, the city of Salix and I have not received any data center plans. There is no end user identified to our knowledge. MidAmerican has been doing site analysis since late January and February of 2026. That is when MidAmerican informed the City Council and I of their site analysis. Jessica, this is a story that is continuing to grow and evolve, and we'll continue digging deeper into it and bring you any new developments as they uncover.
Yeah, a lot to unpack here, and of course, so many counties talking about it, and such a hot topic, and those meetings have definitely been packed, Sophie.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you for the update. Live in studio for us tonight, Sophie Wyckoff.